Hey everyone, Genome here, coming to the next episode of my Marvel Strike Force Beginners series. Yes, another legendary event is going to be around the corner before you know it, and that's going to be none other than Legendary Phoenix. Yes, one of the great legendaries in this game, and for quite a while, the most powerful character in this game. And she's still very, very powerful, which actually speaks to her level, seeing as she hasn't been power crept too incredibly much. I have said in other videos that I don't think she's a vital legendary to go for the newer player. I think some others are definitely more suited to getting you through more PvE content and are just better than in all modes as compared to Phoenix, who is stellar in a few modes, but not so great in some of the stuff that the newer players need to do, right? But she is a powerhouse and definitely worth going for over the ages of your collection. And a lot of what it takes to unlock her, you will probably pick up incidentally. Unfortunately, you have to do quite a bit of grinding to get this amazing character. And let's just talk about her real fast, what she can do for you, and then we'll go ahead and get into the unlock itself. In her regular Jean Grey form, she is nothing too special. The only thing she really has going for her is her special, which allows her to die. So basically, you never use her basic. I mean, maybe unless your ability blocked on turn 1 or something like that. And really, if you're using her ultimate, something's probably gone wrong. The ultimate's not absolutely horrible, to be honest with you, but I mean, like I said, keeping Jean Grey around is not what you want to do, almost ever, unless you're in like some sort of campaign node and you don't want her to die. It's understandable, but then again, if you're doing that, Phoenix is probably not the best character for it. But anyway, she powers through a lot of stuff that she shouldn't be able to. Anyway, it's all about her special. Her special is what does it. You don't even really have to max it, but you probably will once you get Phoenix unlocked, just because every ability that you level up or max on Jean Grey actually goes over to Dark Phoenix. And Dark Phoenix is where this character lives, breathes, and what makes her valuable. Okay, so all buffs aside that she gives to X-Men allies, that's just beside the point. It's all amazing gravy on this otherwise amazing smorgasbord. But let's talk about the character real fast and why she's so strong. She even has a really strong basic. I mean, clearing 2 positive effects, big damage, it hits adjacent. It's a really good ability, but you're probably going to use this third turn is what usually happens, unless the other opponent has like Ebony Maw or something that ability blocks you when you first pop up. But basically, she pops up with a ton of speed meter. She pops up with an AoE that splashes it everywhere. It's down here from the ashes. It debuffs the opposing team, and she's ready to roll with her special usually. And that's stealing one max 20% health from the entire team and just receive it, and gives it to her team. This is incredibly potent in Dark Dimension, by the way, and what makes her such an A+ character for like Dark Dimension 3. Unfortunately, though, when she goes into Dark Phoenix, keep this in mind, that you're going to have to res her for every node, and that gets expensive with core. So just a warning, usually it's like one day, and then maybe refresh with the core, do another node, and then that's kind of how it goes with her. But anyway, it's beyond the purview of this. Usually she follows up her special with the amazing Phoenix Unleashed. That's basically the entire team nuke that she throws at you. It clears all positive effects when maxed and does massive damage. You can't dodge it. It's a killing move. Usually if she gets this off, you're in some big trouble. And even on teams with Ebony Maw, there's no guarantee that she's not going to get this, because she gets like crazy speed bar. It's so hard to stop her from getting this off. So a lot of times when you're killing her on the opposing side, you have got to really strategize of when to do it. You got to make sure there's no one that can taunt around her, which is difficult in the Colossus situation. But that's why a lot of times, if she's on the opposing team, you do as little damage to Jean Grey as possible in hopes that she survives, and then the other characters lose their stealth, and then you can start working on them first, because you do not want Phoenix sitting behind a taunt. That's a recipe for death for any team, really. So yeah, you want to be able to Zerg her down ASAP as soon as she gets into Dark Phoenix mode. But anyway, yeah, her Phoenix Unleashed, her ultimate is just devastating. It's huge. It's a whole team killer. Don't let it go off. So yeah, she's just amazing backward and forward. I don't recommend really putting any tier 4s into her basic. It's not really required. You're barely ever going to use this move. It's really good, but unless you're inside Dark Dimension or something, you're probably not going to see this too often. So an amazing character. So yes, you want her. You probably don't want to worry about her right away, but something you definitely want going into the mid-game. So let's go ahead and get into how she is unlocked and what I think are the best characters to do it with. Okay, before you see the characters that you can unlock Phoenix with. If you're unlocking her with Dr. Doom, my hat's off to you. We're going to assume he doesn't exist for this portion of the video, but yeah, he can be used. So they use some pretty crazy taglines in this, and I don't know if they just rolled the dice or whatever or put the names in a randomizer or the traits in a randomizer, but it came up with villain mystic controllers. That's what you need. And right now, these are all the ones that are in the game. Some are more accessible than others, but let's go ahead and talk just a little bit about who I think the ones to go for are best for the newer player, right? The ones that I think you'll be able to get to easiest and you can start working on early. Let's just go ahead and start. No particular order, just how I have them ranked here. As far as levels, I'll start with Loki. Loki is not a easy farm for newer players and even early mid-game players. He's in Mystic 3-6. You need a pretty strong Mystic crew to get that far. And then the node itself is actually really difficult. So just a warning on that one. He's not easy, but he is one of the few, like I'd say about half of this team is usable outside of this unlock, but the other half is completely useless. So there it is. Loki is a good character, but it's a really early or even early mid-game farm. He's not exactly the most accessible in the world, but you gotta get him out of a node. He is in Mystic 3-6 once again. Mordo, much like his brother in mysticism, Loki is actually a pretty good character outside of his team. He's an integral part of the supernatural team, part of the triad that makes that team work. And I know he's been seeing some experimentation lately in DD4. I guess his upgrade requirements are a little bit less than some other characters to get to 15, so that's one of the reasons. But he's got a good control kit, right? There's no damage to this attached to this guy, but that's not what his purpose is. So he does see intermittent play inside out of the meta. But anyway, regarding his unlock, he might be the easiest unlock of this entire team because he's in the arena store, so he's always going to be there. So if you're doing all your arenas every day, max them out, you can probably get 10 shards this guy a day, 15 if you've been stockpiling, and then you're off to the races. So easiest farm, there's not too much to talk about here. Arena store, if you are planning on getting Phoenix, and you should be planning on getting here eventually, start buying them in the arena store. Once again, probably not the first farm you need to do in the arena store. I have a whole arena video. Check a couple videos back for that. Maybe I'll put it in the description below. But yeah, so Mordo's not a bad addition, and he's one of the few characters on this team this unlock requirement that's actually any good. Okay, so for the absolute best option for unlocking Phoenix is Hela. Hela is going to get a ton of use outside of the unlock. She's beastly in PvE content. She's beastly in PvP content. She's just good everywhere. War, arena, doesn't matter. She's just a great character. And she's pretty, I don't know how I'd say distinctive in that she kind of unlocks two of the best legendaries in the game, right? It's debatable about Ak and Maw being the best, but I mean, especially for the early game, these are two of the best you can get in the game. Because she helps unlock not only Black Bolt, but of course Phoenix, like you're seeing here in this video. So, yeah, great character, but let me tell you something. She's not for the early gamer.
Sorry.
And you're probably going to be only hitting her node probably at the middle part of the middle game. She is in Villain 7-6. That is no easy feat to get to. Much easier now than it used to be, though, I will admit. When I unlocked Phoenix, I did not have Hela. At least not the star level that I needed her to be at. So you need to have everybody, I didn't mention this before, you need to have everybody at 6 stars to unlock Phoenix. She's the only legendary game like that. Everyone else requires 5 stars for unlocks. Phoenix is 6, so it makes the process even more painful. I think they wanted to slow down the rate of people who were getting her because she's going to be so powerful. They knew she was. But so Hela is in Villain 7-6. Now the good news is 7-6 is actually a pretty easy node. I've noticed that all the character shard nodes seem to be easier than the ones that precede it for whatever reason, at least in those high ranks. But yeah, so her node is not that bad when you get to her, but getting to her is the trick. And as I recall, you need mystic characters for those 3 nodes. So hopefully you had some carryover from the Loki hunt, and you have some reasonably strong mystic characters built up. Okay, so let's talk about real quick the easiest way to get to her. All right, so first off, you need to finish, I think, the first at least 3 missions of the Heroes campaign to get to Villain 7-1. Villain 7-1 through 7-3 has some pretty hard requirements for characters that you can use. I recommend AIM. AIM, I will use them just about any node that I can when they're one of the specific teams, because they can punch up so much. They have so much sustain. They're very good at those things. There's no time limit in the campaign nodes either, so they really excel in long drawn out battles. So I would say AIM for 7-1 through 7-3 on villains, and that's basically it. Once you get her though, it would make the event a lot easier too if you actually have her. And she's definitely a must farm for everything she does for you. But once again, it's not going to be easy. So you might not be able to use her. In fact, she's probably going to be... You might not have her available as a newer player to use. That's just something you got to deal with, right? So if you can't get her node on farm, don't despair. You have some other options, but she really is the best one to use. And I feel really bad about having to tell you about some of the ones that follow here. So there we go. Hela's right there and very much advisable. Nobu, how do we hate thee? Let me count the ways. The character is absolutely, completely, and utterly worthless, but you need him probably for the unlock. I had to use him for the unlock. Once again, I didn't have Hela, so that makes him and my next 2 choices kind of mandatory. Yeah, he's just useless. Nothing else to say about him, but he is farmable in 2 places, actually, which is kind of nice. And that's Villain 6-3, and he's also available in the War Store. Now, I am ashamed to admit I actually used some war currency on him back when I unlocked Phoenix ages ago. In some of my defense, though, there wasn't nearly as many good characters in the War Store, and there wasn't any tier 15s or whatever to worry about, so it wasn't as painful. I really needed to get her. I think I was getting close to the event, and I really wanted to unlock her, so I started using war credits. Do not recommend that. Get to his raid node, or his campaign node. It's a Villain 6-3 once again. It's not hard. And just put him on farm as early as you can. I'm sure he's going to be the ones you got to use. So, yeah, it's Nobu. It doesn't get much better from here. All right, next up is Ronin. Ronin carries the amazing trifecta of tags, and just like Nobu before him, he's basically useless. He is better than Ronin. He is better than Nobu, but not by a whole lot. He's good, like on good being a relative term, on the Kree minion teams or whatever, but yeah, it pains me to put any gear into him. Do the pain of it all. This is as far as I'm ever taking him. Yeah. He is another difficult farm because he is only found in the raid store and or raid orbs. Some people are proponents of going for raid orbs instead of target farming. I am not of that group, but I mean, what they say makes sense. It can take you a long time if you're not target farming to do it all through raid orbs because it's so random. But I don't know. I'll leave that in your capable hands, but really the thing to know is he's in the raid store and there's no other real way to get this guy, which sucks. And there's a lot of actually decent characters in the raid store too that you want to go for, but you're gonna have to go for Ronin. So he's one of the primary grabs out of the raid store. I say him and Thor are probably the 2 mains you should probably be going for out of the raid store, just because of the legendary unlocks that are tied to them. So there's Ronin. He's awful, but he is required. All right, and the character that most people will probably try to leave off of this team, if they can help it, if they can get Hela, is Hand Assassin.
What?
Hand Assassin is Nobu, but worse, much worse, and that's saying something, right? She's terrible, completely useless character. She'll never get another piece of level or gear out of me. I didn't even like leveling her this high, but you need to beat the event at 7 stars.
No!
She is also node farmable, which is nice. It makes her fairly easy to get to, but she's on a decently high campaign node. She's in Nexus 7-6, and that is not an easy node. Let me just show you kind of what's in there.
To be continued.
All right. Yeah, look at all the Black Panthers. This is not an easy node to do at level. This one's nasty, but whatever the case may be, you need her probably, because it's so hard to get Hela. It's much easier now than it used to be, especially she has a node. Like when Hela first came out, she didn't have a node or nothing. It took a long time to get a Hela node. So it's another reason I wasn't able to use her. But yeah, she's just your basically last option for Phoenix, and so you got to do what you got to do. There's so many legendaries in this game required you to build useless teams. You know, Nick Fury requires Kree minions, which are useless outside of Blitz, really. Iron Man needs Shield. At least that team has some use, albeit negligible, but there's still something to be had there. Yeah, Black Bolt at least gets Guardians, right? But then you got like Star-Lord, you gotta get Guardians for him. Guardians suck, it's like until Doc Ock came around, the Sinister Six really sucked, and but you need them for 2 legendaries basically. It's just it's kind of nice for some of the characters, like say for Doc Ock, who use X-Force, which is a good team, at least in one node. At least they have some saving grace, right? But yeah, the Phoenix Unlock is painful. There's 3 really good characters if you can get a hold of them to farm, but really it's not the easiest thing in the world, and yeah, it's rough. So that's basically it. Get these 5 of these assorted characters to 6 stars, mind you, and you're off to the races to get Phoenix. As I recall, her event wasn't too terribly hard, but I did have to put some gear into them. I already had higher gear on Mordo and Loki. That's why you see the levels they are at, because I think I ran them through DD2 quite a bit, and DD1, so that's kind of why. But those are 2 good characters, especially for the campaign. Hela's astounding, and everybody else sucks, unless of course you bought Doom. So yeah, there it is. There's the Phoenix Unlock. So hopefully it answers all questions, but if you have any more, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. Yeah, when the events get closer, maybe I would like to try to do the unlock, but I'm not going to have it on my other account to do, so I can't show you what the minimums are. But just think of these levels right here as high as you need to go, and even less if you have Hela in the mix, because she makes up for a lot of deficiencies in the less of these 3. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Until next time, this is Genome, just hoping everybody gets a hold of Phoenix that wants her.